topic I chose as a first topic in this group is how we see and create our reality. And I honestly think that it's a backbone of everything that we do. It's a backbone of our lives. It's kind of that what gives the background for how we see our reality. So maybe some of you probably know it already. Some of you know it more than the others. Maybe some of you never heard of it. But in NLP, there's a term called NLP model of the world, and that basically says that how you see the outside world, it doesn't necessarily mean that that is the way it is. And we all see things different things in a different way, in a different light, and it all depends on our personal experiences. So how it works? Every time something happens out of you, it's like external event. So something happens, and every time something happens, we receive the information through our senses. So the senses is, we see things, we hear things, we can smell things, we can taste things, we can touch them, we can feel them. So when I say external event, it doesn't mean like something has to happen that you're gonna remember till the rest of your life. But I mean, it could be anything. You smelled the flower walking past, and you smell something and you think, oh, what smells so nice? Or all of a sudden you started feeling your feet on the floor, so that is your feeling sensor. So we've all got those sensors, and every given second we are bombarded, literally offloaded so much information on us that comes through all those sensors. So it's like millions. So I've been looking at the information, and some sources says it's like 2 million, some sources say it's 11 million, and I don't know how it's worked out, but all I know, it's a lot, a shit loads of information. So obviously, even if it's 2 million bits of information per second, our brain cannot cope with it. So what it does, it deletes some of the information, distorts the other, or just generalizes, just to help us cope with that load of information. So when it deletes, it's just literally you choose to see some information and just miss the other bits of information. So it's like you just overlook. You don't look at them. You omit them from your awareness. So the distortion is the distort. It's like, sometimes when you, let's say, walk in the woods and you think you saw the snake, but when you walk closer, you just clearly see that it's just a stick, the wood stick, like a dry wood stick on the grass. But because of that distortion, it's got similarities, and that's what came through your awareness. And generalize, it's when we're drawing a conclusion based on one or two experiences. So, and I think our society just loves generalizations, and we do it so much. It's like, every time you see, oh men, oh women, or women can't drive, or all men are the same, oh children, children are this. So it's just you generalize things. And let's say if I would say, oh, I hate spicy food, I ate it once and it gave me bad belly all day. So I ate it once, but I generalize it, and now I hate it, all spicy food. And it could have been that I had bad belly not from the spices, from something else, but in my mind I connected those two things, and now I generalize and I wouldn't touch spicy food at all. So at each given moment, we can deal with about 7 bits of information plus minus 2. So it depends how much capacity you've got to store in your brain, and it also depends whether it's a high priority. This topic is a high priority or low priority to you. So let's say we can do the exercise. Let's say if you don't smoke, then the cigarettes are obviously low priority. And I'm sure you heard, within your life, you had more than 7 brands of different cigarettes. But if you now need to remember all of them, how many would you remember? So just quickly try to remember how many brands of cigarettes you can, and type in the comment and see how many there are. So I used to smoke many years ago. I used to smoke, and I knew loads of them, but when I tried to remember, I could only remember 4 of them, and I'm sure I knew many more, but that's all I could remember. Whereas, because I love dogs, and I've got the dog myself, and there was time when I was looking at the dog to buy the dog, and I was looking at all different breeds, and I knew lots of breeds. But when I started thinking about dog breeds, because it's high priority, I still got the dog, and I still meet the dog owners, and we talk, and every time we meet the dog with the owner, it's not the other way. You don't meet the owner with the dog, you meet the dog with the owner. Every time you do that, you ask them, here we go, Wendy, you don't smoke, so you only know 2, but I'm pretty sure that somewhere, at some point in your life, you had more than 2 brands. The adverts, they constantly do that, but you choose not to remember that, because it's not high priority. So going back to the dogs, so when you meet the dog, you always ask the owner, what breed is it, and you constantly in that, I am constantly in that circle. So when I started working out how many dog breeds I have, I know I could remember 10 or 11. So that the amount of information you can remember at the given moment, it depends on whether it's high or low priority to you as well. So all this deletion, all this distortion and generalization. Oh my God, I was struggling with that word. I need to practice on it. It doesn't just get deleted randomly or generalized randomly. It all goes through your internal filters, and we've got quite a few filters. So I'm gonna quickly take you through all different internal filters that informations go through for you to take it into your conscious awareness. So one of the filters is your values. So values are things that are very important to you. And based on your values that you have, you decide whether the action that you wanted to take or going to take is good or bad, and how you're going to feel about it. So because of your values, you might refuse to do a lot of the things because it's going to go against your values, and and values are very, very powerful things. Then it goes through the filter of your personal traits, what kind of person you are. Then the beliefs. So beliefs is the kind of sort of generalization. Beliefs is just a cluster of thoughts of how we think the world works. It's not how the world works, but how we think the world works. And belief is just a thought that you repeat it often enough for it to be remembered and stored as a belief. So beliefs is something that can either kind of make or break us. So many beliefs can either deny or create the personal power. So beliefs that are empowering us, they obviously create the personal power, and it helps you in, to go into the world and do the things that you think that's your purpose, or you want to help people and you believe you can do that, and you just go there and do that. So these are empowering beliefs. But then there is another side of the belief, which is disempowering or limiting beliefs, like a lot of us know them by. So these are beliefs that disempower us, and they don't serve us. So that is very important filter of letting, or not letting information through into your conscious awareness. Then another filter is your memories, and memories that you have stored. And again, the memories, normally you store memories that are that have got emotions attached to them, and the higher emotion charge, the more you are likely to store that memory, to remember that memory. So and I read somewhere that psychologists say that our present plays a very, very small part in our behavior. And they say that as we get older, we react to the present less and less, and our reaction is more and more built on the memories. And that is could be due to that we store more memories, but then it could be also that your brain makes like a pathway to that memory which is stored, and we pull it out every time we encounter the same emotion. So and our brain does automate a lot of things to save the energy. So that it's easier for the brain to go, it's easier for you to drive on the motorway than somewhere on a in the field. So the brain does the same. If you want to the same memory so many times, you've done like a motorway. You have done motorway to that memory. So it's easy for the brain just to go there, pull out, look at that memory. I've done this at that point. I'm gonna do that the same again. So and you make the decision based on that. So decision is another filter that filters our reality, and based on the past decisions you might have made about a certain situation, you're more likely to make the same decision if you do it unconsciously. So if you want to change, what kind of decision you're making, you have to be very conscious about what you do. But unfortunately, most of our decisions we make either unconsciously, or we make them at a very, very early age and we just forget about them, but they're still there running that pathway, running in the background of your decision-making machine. So also we let it through the filter of language, what kind of language we use, how we speak, whether we speak positively or negatively, our self-talk, how we speak to ourselves, and about our ideas about time, about space, about matter, and about the energy. So as you can see, there's loads and lots of filters that your brain is running through for you to make that one decision. And so we all have different values in our lives, and we all have different experiences, and we all have different memories, and we obviously all made different decisions in our lives. So when my brain filters information through the filters of my decisions, of my experiences, of my memories, I come up with one product. Whereas your experiences and memories are different. Therefore, you made different decisions in your life. So your understanding about the same thing could be different. So why it's so important to understand that model, model how we create our world? Well, I think that was something that helped me to build relationship. When I say to build, not to build, probably to improve my relationship with my partner. When I started understanding where he's coming from, it helped me to rebuild my relationship with my dad, because I was blaming my dad for everything, every single shitty thing that happened in my life, and it was so easy to blame him. And I was just blaming, but I never thought, why he did those things, why he thought those thoughts, and why he said what he said, why he did what he did. And once I started to understand, what his experience was like, and how he grew up, and what was his experiences, and what is the kind of motivation behind it, I started changing my perception of him. So, and it's not only important to have that understanding when you communicate to other people. Of course, it's very important, because it might save arguments, it might save misunderstandings, because when you can see where the other person is coming from, you understand that you don't need to win the argument. It's your opinion is your opinion, their opinion is their opinion, and your opinion is coming from this place and their opinion is coming from that place. But it doesn't mean that either yours or theirs is wrong. It's just different. It's just different based on our experiences, based on our life, and that's fine, and that's okay. We don't have to have the same opinions about stuff. It's not a fact, it's just an opinion. So yes, and the other thing is, it helps you to understand why you do things the way you do. If you can track down to some kind of memory, that triggers you, or to some decision that you made, and now you keep doing that, you understand that it's not the way you made. We make that excuse very often. Oh, it's just the way I am, and I can't change it. Well, you can, and it's just the way I am. It's just an excuse. It's not a reason to behave the way you do. And if you don't like it, you can easily change it. But you have to understand why you're making that. Why are you doing that? What is it? Which filter it goes through for you to come up with that decision? So how does it work? When something happens and your brain goes like, well, has it happened before? If yes, what did I do? And I did that. Okay, I'll do the same this time, because it's easier, it saves time, it saves energy. You don't have to think, you don't have to come up with another decision. It's just easy. It's time, and energy efficient. If it's no, then it would go, okay, it never happened before. Had something similar happened? Yes. Okay, what did I do? And it will probably go the same way. If no, if nothing similar has happened, your brain would go then, okay, so based on my values and my beliefs, what do I need to do? And you go, first of all, you go through that filter of your values, of your beliefs, you know, your memories, experiences, it's out of the question because it never happened before. And you filter through your values, you filter through your beliefs, you filter through your, you know, language, how you talk to yourself, and blah 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 blah, and then you make a decision. But if something happened before, if you keep repeating the same thing over and over, the same thought or the same action, the same behavior, then you are in a circle of your brain shortcutting. So if you can find where that shortcut is, you can change it. So so the internal event has happened, we put it through all our filters, and then we have an internal representation of the event, which that's exactly what it is, internal representation of the event. It's not the event itself, it's how I see it, how I hear it, how I feel it, you know, how it's entirely my opinion about that event. And it can be completely different from yours, but it's my personal, very subjective, very personal opinion of that event. So that internal representation, it goes through your nervous system and it will affect your chemistry. So when the chemistry is affected, all the chemicals are getting released, then you get into certain mood. So you're either happy, or you're sad, or you're frustrated, or you're angry, or you're joyous, or you're elated, you know, that creates a certain mood. So the mood you're in, it affects your body language, it affects your posture, it affects your, you know, facial expression, because we all have facial expression for when we're happy, for when we're sad, for, you know, when we're crying, and the same the body posture, and the same the body language. We can, you know, I did read somewhere that, you know, you can say more about the body language than about the words that people are saying. So all that, all the body language, the body posture, you know, the facial expression and everything, it will affect your behavior, how you behave. And from that, how you behave, it will affect your results. There's like a chain. So the internal event happened, then it goes through your nervous system, it affects your body chemistry, which creates your mood, and then your mood affects your body in general, and then if it affects your behavior, and your behavior affects your results. So, but if you will change one link in that chain of the events, you can change the result. So if, let's say, you start feeling depressed, but if you'll stand tall, you know, with the shoulders back and your chin up, and you will put your hands in a Superman position and you stand like that, I bet you cannot feel depressed anymore, because your body posture changed. So after you've changed your body posture, you are changing how you feel, you're changing how you're gonna act, and therefore you're changing your results. So in that chain, if you change one thing, it will change the whole chain of the events, and it will affect your results. So one thing there's one exercise how to feel more confident nearly immediately, not immediately, but nearly immediately. Like I said, you know, it's called Superman posture. I don't know if you can see me, but it's like, you know, it's like a Superman. You have to put your shoulders back, and you have to look at the sky. It's like, you know, when a Superman, when he flies, if you stand like that for 1 minute, it will change your mood. It will change your confidence in yourself, and therefore it will change your ability to do things. Try that. I have tried it and it does work. So you can try that every time before, let's say, job interview, before you have to have a awkward conversation with someone which you are trying to avoid. It's gonna give you confidence, and it will allow you to go through the conversation with easier and quicker, you know, and more confident. Let's say just more confident.